What is going on, Impact Fit family? It's your boys, Coach Matt, Coach Sarge, coming at you with another Minute with Matt episode. This episode, we're going to talk about the glycemic index and why it matters to you guys as far as your overall results.
Right.
Yeah, I missed
exactly.
that part.
I was trying to hit all 3 points. You got them.
Got them.
Yep.
All right, we got them. That's it. So here's the deal. What's the deal? I forget.
Man, this video is off to a strong start.
I forget the deal.
So we just really want to talk about certain foods that surprised us as we looked at the glycemic index. Talk a little bit about what that means as far as your results, what the heck the index.
Why does it matter?
Yeah, why does it matter? And then really talk about, just understanding how your blood sugar is affected throughout the day.
Yeah.
And the number one thing that we wanted to chat about first is we know Coach Matt deals with diabetes, deals with blood sugar issues on a regular basis.
On an hourly basis.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Every day and every workout for us is a struggle just because of those issues.
Yes.
So give them a little bit about just how you deal with it. And,
Yeah. So this got brought up actually a couple days ago. I was talking to an awesome member of ours, and she had mentioned, why don't you share your story a little bit more? And it's not my, even though I definitely like to talk about certain things, sharing my issues with blood sugar and diabetes doesn't always kind of register to me. That's just because it's not the type of person that I am. But when it comes to fat loss, getting results, which is why you guys are here, being taught how to manage your blood sugar levels as a diabetic is almost an exact parallel. So when I first got diagnosed with diabetes, they start saying, hey, why don't you eat more protein? Why don't you eat more veggies? Why don't you, start working out? And I'm like, bro.
We already do that.
Yeah, this is what I do. Again, it's almost an exact parallel, and there's a lot of through lines that you can draw when it comes to teaching somebody how to manage their blood sugar and how to burn fat at the same time. So one of the things that we just got done doing with our Max Shred crew is talk about, hey, as long as you're getting protein and you're not overdoing calories, everything else doesn't really matter that much. Now, if we're talking about getting super, super shredded and, you're going to be a bikini model and do the next physique competition.
5% body fat.
Yeah, 5% body fat. Now we can start to get into the weeds of like all of the macros and get into like the nitty gritty of it. But as far as general fat loss, losing weight, feeling better, building muscle, really the biggest things are calories and protein, all right? So if you're just like eating a crazy amount of calories and obviously getting very little protein, that's equals fat storage.
Right.
That equals,
And what do you know? Protein is shown to just be very, what's the key term I'm looking for when something digests super slow? Satiation, right?
Satiated. Yeah,
you stay satiated when you have protein in your system. It just takes a little bit longer for your body to digest, so you stay fuller longer, which means you won't be snacking and going for the sugary foods.
Right.
Hey, what do you know?
Then this is
protein gets you better results.
Yeah.
Who knew?
And then this is where the glycemic index comes into play, right? Because when you're talking about the glycemic index specifically, this is a tool more, readily talked about in the diabetic community because things that are lower on the glycemic index will take a longer time to affect your blood sugar versus things that are higher on the glycemic index, right? So the glycemic index goes 0 to 100. If you're eating things that are closer to the 100 side of the glycemic index, you pretty much eat it and it instantly will affect your blood sugar. You get that spike. And then obviously things, again, that are lower on the glycemic index, like Sarge said, will take a little bit longer to kind of get into your system. Now, when we were looking at this, and I was kind of doing my research on this way back when, there's definitely a lot of things on here that might surprise you. And I wanted to use this as an example to alliterate and kind of, not alliterate, what's the word I'm looking for?
Now I'm going to help you.
Yeah. Not alliterate, but like illuminate. That's what I was thinking.
Oh.
Illuminate. I wanted to illuminate how some of these foods on this list can be really beneficial to helping you build a long-term sustainable meal plan where it's not restricted, okay? And one of the first ones that I know popped up on Sarge's, when he was looking at this list was pizza.
I do love pizza.
Sarge has a pizza tattoo, right?
That's true. Not going to tell you where it is. You take a guess.
Oh, wow.
Who doesn't like, right, exactly. Who doesn't like pizza?
Right.
First off, and you might think, well, how is that lower than some of the other items on this list? What we should do is actually send this picture.
I'll add it.
Add it.
I'll add it in the video.
So you guys can see exactly what we're looking at. But how can pizza be lower on the glycemic index than carrots and oranges and bananas? Those things, they're not necessarily where you'd think like, wait,
right.
those are healthy and pizza's
Right.
not the best for you.
Right. So the glycemic index itself, again, just to reiterate, really is only talking about the absorption of these things, right? So when you eat the food, how quickly does it absorb, right? So it's not essentially what's healthier or unhealthier, right?
Right.
So one of the things that we're going to talk about in a minute here is a food that's obviously considered much healthier than pizza, but a lot higher on the glycemic index, right? So again, it's kind of confusing, but
Take it with a grain of salt.
Right.
We're not telling you to go eat
Right.
certain things that are lower on the glycemic index just because they're lower on the glycemic index.
Yeah, so just because it is lower on the index doesn't mean we're, like Sarge is saying, recommending going and eating it every second of the day. But this furthers our point of, you know, as long as you're staying within a certain calorie range and you're getting enough protein in throughout the day, like you can afford to eat certain foods, like a piece of pizza. I think one of the things on this list that Sarge popped out for Sarge too is more in the middle ground is a Snickers bar, right? Snickers actually comes in below banana, right? So when you eat a banana, it's going to absorb into your system a lot quicker because it's higher on the glycemic index than a Snickers bar would. Now, to his point, that's not saying, hey, eat a Snickers bar versus a banana. But
in your protein shake, put a Snickers bar instead of a banana.
Right. But what that is
not saying that.
What that is saying though is if you do have a Snickers bar every once in a while, it's not going to kill you, right? Again, as long as you're staying within a certain calorie range, getting in enough protein throughout the day, the carbs, the fats, the other things are not as important as some might make you think, right? You look at a lot of these diets that say, oh my gosh, you got to get rid of all carbs, or oh my gosh, you can't have high fats because that's bad, right? The truth is, again, protein and veggies are king and queen, and then everything else almost doesn't even matter as long as you're staying within that certain calorie budget. And again, that's what the glycemic index is reaffirming in a way.
Yeah, take it with a grain of salt because, you know, we don't have macros or the calories of these certain items too. So it gets a little convoluted when you're like, no, wait, well, Snickers bar, just like we've been talking about, is like higher than or lower than a banana. Like, why does that make sense? And why do you think that makes sense?
Well,
I think it's because of the peanuts.
Well, the peanuts?
I think so.
Well, maybe.
I think so.
But I think in an even of a broader sense, I think the reason that the glycemic index matters, hold on a second, but the reason why the glycemic index matters is because it's also taking into consideration the overall net carbs in the food, the overall glucose levels in the foods. So bananas are pretty high in carbs, pretty high in natural sugar, whereas Snickers bars, I guess depending on the size too. You know, if you're having if you're having a bite-sized Snickers bar, it's going to be different than having a king size.
Yeah, what I was saying is just the other ingredients in there
Right.
probably slow down the absorption of your insulin.
So
you know what I mean?
even though a Snickers bar is not going to be healthier, in my opinion, than a banana, as far as absorption and how quickly it affects your blood sugar, Snickers bar probably does have a little bit of protein in it because of the peanuts and the other things.
Which is number one on the list.
The nougat.
On our list, peanuts is number one for lowest on the glycemic index at 14. So that kind of just hits right what I was talking about.
Yeah,
In
for
the
sure.
Snickers bar, it kind of slows that digestion down.
This list that we're going to show you guys here is not all of the foods on the glycemic index, obviously. There's a lot of things that are less than peanuts, but these are the ones that, like I said, really kind of stood out to us as far as the ones that are kind of like, you know, a little
A
surprising.
little eye-opening, right?
Right. So
like,
then when you flip this all the way to the top, right, one of the highest glycemic index foods on this list is a baked potato, right? So again, you would say like, well, a baked potato is something that's probably more recommended to eat versus a Snickers bar, or
it's a whole organic food. Natural food.
Or there's on this list is white rice, brown rice. These are all things that are higher on the glycemic index than a Snickers bar. But again, the overall point here is not to say eat the Snickers bar versus the rice or eat the Snickers bar versus the baked potato. Just an overall way of saying, hey, if all you're eating is a lot of these higher glycemic index foods, they're getting really quickly absorbed into your system, that's where the satiation kind of goes away. That's where it's probably, you know, you're not eating a lot of protein along with these things, and it's going to affect your overall blood sugar levels, which
insulin resistance.
Which then goes into insulin resistance, which goes into fat storage, and the whole thing just kind of starts to cascade down, right? So it's important to, again, remember that this is all in consideration with calorie control, portion control, you know, are you getting enough protein in your diet and all that kind of stuff. But I think, again, the main thing that we were trying to get at here with this video is looking at this list. There are certain things on this list that you can afford to eat and put into your diet on a pretty regular basis, and it's not going to harm you as far as the overall fat storage. Again, the basic example here is the pizza versus the baked potato, right? The baked potato would, I think, be pretty, you know, I guess across the board recognized as the healthier option versus a piece of pizza, or even the Snickers bar might be a better example of this. But what we're trying to get at is you can eat a Snickers bar, right? You can have a piece of pizza, right? As long as we're focusing on calories and proteins first.
Hey, bud.
Oakley's filming us in the background.
Yeah, and talking about insulin resistance, I mean, it's just one of those other factors that go into muscle building and fat burning.
Right.
So not to confuse you guys, like I said at the beginning of the video, take this with a grain of salt. We just wanted to focus on this specific topic. Don't go off this list and say, hey, I'm gonna have more pizza now because it's less than a baked potato.
Oakley, hold on a second,
Definitely
bud.
don't do that. We just wanted to bring the knowledge to you guys because ultimately there are so many different things that go into fat burning and muscle building in your body. It's just another thing to talk about. Bring the knowledge, we're bringing the knowledge.
Come here real quick. No,
Get on camera.
Come here real quick. Come here real quick. You got to stop yelling over here. Come here. I know you want to play a game. Come here. Come here. You got to say hi to everybody. Look at the camera and say hi.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Well, now you're quiet.
Yeah, right? Now he's on camera. Now he won't say a word. But yeah, so all good stuff.
Yep. It's a good way to end the video. Say bye, Oak.
Say bye. Hey, don't do it. Don't do us a favor and like and subscribe. We don't want you to do that. No,
Yeah.
just joking. Please do that.
He got us flustered. Please do that. Like, comment, let us know if you have a question or a specific topic you want to talk about, exercise-wise, nutrition-wise. Let us know.
Say bye.
Other than that, we'll see you next week on Minute with Matt. Peace.
Bye. Say bye, Oak.